Equity is a central and foundational pillar for a health system. I'm Dr. Chad Swanson, and I'm on a journey to understand and transform our health system. This is one of my daily health systems transformation videos. A few days ago, I posted a video that explored the possibility of replacing DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, with a transformation of the health system that puts equity foremost. I want to make it clear that my intent was never to undermine diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. In fact, I'm in favor of any program or strategy that puts equity at the forefront of our health system. Let me explain what I mean. Currently, as I view it, our health system is disjointed, fragmented, without a clear vision. So there are a number of groups, or I'll call them subsystems. I'm an emergency physician, and I'm part of the clinical medicine subsystem, and within that subsystem there's an emergency department subsystem. And we are primarily incentivized, interested in, driven by, trained for rescue treatment. So we're interested in episodes of treatment and providing care, and I feel very proud of the care that we can give. We are also, I say widely, we are also interested in maximizing financial gain. And then finally, we're interested in prestige that comes from elitism, and that can be related to professionalism or racism or any other numbers of isms. So my point is, we are not primarily driven by equity. I would argue, and I'm certainly up for criticism because I'm not a full-time academic professor, but I would argue that in the universities, the primary drivers are publications and grants. So for example, in communities, if equity is not improving, then university professors and administrators don't necessarily feel an urgent need to address that equity. They feel an urgent need to teach their classes, get grants, and publish papers, and that may have to do with equity, but it's not necessarily a driving force. Similarly, public health programs. Again, I appreciate any criticism, but my understanding is that there is an urgent need to deliver programs and get grants for those programs, and certainly those programs involve equity. And yet, job security and incomes and other major drivers are not necessarily dependent on equity. So I envision an ideal health system where all of those subsystems feel an urgent need to increase the equity in the overall system. Now, DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, are, among many other things, as I understand it, oriented to increase the number of disadvantaged or groups that aren't, for example, black physicians, increase the number of black physicians. So I envision, if there were an increased number of black physicians, which I wholeheartedly support, then they would still enter into a world, a health system, where the subsystems that they work in and the structures that they work in are not primarily oriented towards equity. And so I think that there are a number of approaches that should be approached in parallel. So I recently finished a book that I strongly recommend by, I think it's Uche Blackstock, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but I will put a link in the description. But in it, she describes her experience as a university diversity officer and the frustrations that she faced because the structure of the university itself was not oriented towards equity. And then, as I recall, she started her own health equity organization that was a little more oriented towards transforming the overall system. I'd love your thoughts. Thank you very much.